Okay. So, Dalia, I think now it's the time to discuss the first task in part one, which is about speaking and writing, which is read aloud. Okay. Now, in this task, I have to be careful about the strategies and tips I'm going to tell you. Please, Dalia, you have to apply them because the tips and strategies I'm going to discuss are extremely important. Okay, now this is a long answer speaking test, speaking task type that tests reading and speaking skills. You have to read aloud a short test, or sorry, a short text with correct pronunciation and correct intonation. So I will do it. I will do this task from 6 to 7 times. Okay?
Okay.
So this is the exact screen that is going to be shown in front of you. This is it. Let me try to. Oh, you know what? I think I have to zoom it out. I think this is better. So this is it. You notice that this is the screen that is going to be shown next to you, and these are the instructions that you have to read. This box is about recording status box that tells you when the microphone opens and when the microphone closes. And finally here, we have text that I have to read it aloud. Okay, let me try to zoom it in because I want to show you the instructions. It is not clear, but let me try to read. Okay, now the instructions are saying, look at the text below. This is it. This is the text that you have to read aloud, Dalia. So look at the text below. Now in 35 seconds, I have to read this text aloud as naturally and clearly as possible. So as we said, we have 35 seconds to read the full paragraph, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, before practicing, Dalia, absolutely, I have to show you these strategies and tips that you don't have to forget. Okay. Now, strategies. So, read the text through first. I have to use 30 to 40 seconds. I have to use the 30 or maybe 40 seconds before the microphone opens. I have to skim the text and understand the topic. When I say skim, Dalia, I have to read the text fast. Okay? Skimming is reading fast. Okay?
Okay.
There is a big difference between skim and scan. Absolutely, I have to explain them, and I'm going to show you their meanings, but not loud later on. But I have to say that skimming is reading quickly. Okay?
Okay.
So I have to read the paragraph or the passage quickly. I have to understand it before the microphone is going to be open. Two,
Okay.
I have to use the correct pronunciation. I have to use the correct grammar to identify where pauses will be ended, will be needed between meaning groups. Absolutely, this is about punctuation marks, and this is about intonation. Three, I have to identify any words that may be less familiar to me and think how they might be read or pronounced. Okay?
Okay.
So I have to read fast. I have to skim the passage. I have to check the punctuation marks, not only the punctuation, but the pronunciation, because I have to know where to pause, maybe for 1 second, where to pause for 2 seconds, where to use the correct intonation. I'm going to show you this later. Then I have to identify the unfamiliar words to me. The words that are not familiar to me. Maybe I didn't read these words before, and I have to decide the way that I have to read them or pronounce them. Finally, the final strategy, I have to read the first part aloud before the microphone opens, please. This is really important. This will help you to begin speaking when you hear the tone. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, while reading, I have to begin reading as soon as the tone sounds and the recording status changes to a blue bar. As you read, stress the words that carry important information. Use pausing to group the text into meaningful chunks. Okay, please be careful, Dali, about stressing the words. Keep in mind that the verbs are not going to be stressed. Don't stress the verbs. When I say the verbs, Dali, I mean the verb to be like is, wise way. Don't stress them. Okay? Don't stress the verb to do, does, did. Don't stress the verb to have, has, had. Don't stress the modal verbs like will, would, can, could, shall, should, may, might, must. And even so, we notice that all verbs should not be stressed. You have to stress the nouns, adjectives, adverbs. Okay?
Okay.
So please, these are the words that should be stressed. But it's not important to stress the verbs. And what about the chunks? What does that mean that I have to divide the passage into chunks? Keep in mind, please, Dahlia, that I have to be careful about punctuation marks. When I say punctuation marks, Dahlia, I mean like comma, full stop, colon, semicolon, parentheses, brackets. All these things are called punctuation marks. When you have a full stop, you have to stop for 2 seconds. But when you
Okay.
have a comma, you have to pause for 1 second. Okay?
Okay.
When you have a colon, a semicolon, this is the colon. When I say colon, the two dots above each other. And this is a semicolon. When I have a colon, semicolon, I have to pause, please. This is really important. Punctuation marks, Dali, are extremely important. Don't read the full passage as one chunk. Let me give you an example. Let me read this this paragraph to you. You have to read it like this. Listen to the way the final sound in one word links to the first sound in the next when people speak. Try to do this when you read aloud. So notice how I paused for 2 seconds because I have a comma.
Yes.
Okay? So please, I
Okay.
have a full stop, sorry. So please be careful. Here we have a comma. Let me try to read this paragraph. Now, when practicing reading aloud, read on smoothly, even if you make a mistake as hesitations, false starts, and repetitions can lower your score. So please, you have to be careful about punctuation marks because
Okay.
you have to divide the passage into chunks just to be able to be what? Natural one. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now be careful about intonation. When I say intonation, maybe your intonation is going to be up, maybe your intonation is going to be down. Okay? For example,
Okay.
Dalia, if you have a question, your intonation should be up. Okay? For example, let me give you an example. If I want to say that yesterday I was confused, I asked my friend, what should I do? He told me that I have to relax. Because if I want to calm down, I can focus more. So notice that when I said the question, my intonation is up. Okay?
Okay.
And let me give you another example. If I want to say, I am sad because I got a bad score. So notice that my intonation is down. Why? Because I'm telling something that the intonation should be down, not up. Okay. Your intonation should be up if you are asking a question. If you are saying surprising ideas, Dalia, like this, for example, a snake. Guys, there is a snake. So notice my intonation is up. Why? Because I'm saying surprising information. Okay? Because I'm
Yeah.
using exclamation mark, and because I'm using an exclamation mark, and because now I'm saying surprising ideas, I have to use the intonation which is up. Okay?
Okay.
So please, I have to use rising intonation to show a contrast and falling intonation to show that you have finished a point or sentence. So if you are reading the final sentence, you notice that your intonation should be down. Okay? But if you are making comparison and contrast, your intonation should be up. Contrast, Dahlia, means the differences between two things, for example. Comparison is to find similarities between two things. Okay?
Okay.
So please, all these things are really important. Stress, this is number one. Dividing the passage into chunks, this is number two. And your intonation, please be careful. Because as we said, you have to be natural or as natural, uh, um, absolutely as much as you can. Okay. Now, take your time. Please don't rush the things up. You have plenty of time, so don't rush the things up, please. Read with meaning at a normal volume. Don't leave out any words, okay? Even though, Dahlia, that you don't know how to pronounce or read certain words, please don't skip them. Try to read them, okay? Because maybe you will say them correctly, but don't leave them out. Please don't skip them. Now, if you have a mistake, please correct it immediately and continue. Please, you have to be aware of your mistakes and don't skip the mistakes, Dahlia. If you discover that you have a mistake, even if you commit the mistake, Dahlia, in the beginning, and at the end you realize that you committed this mistake in the beginning, correct it immediately. Because if you don't want to correct your mistakes, absolutely, you are going to lower your score. Okay?
Okay.
So I have to correct every mistake I commit. Don't stop reading, please. And don't begin again at the beginning. Don't start over. Don't read again because this is really bad. When I finish, I have to click next when you are ready to go on to the next task. Okay?
Okay.
So this is it. Now let me show you the way that I have to prepare myself. Okay. Absolutely, practicing reading is really important. I have to practice reading loudly. Grouping the words into meaningful chunks. This is really important. Practice putting short pauses and commas, and between meaningful groups. We said that the punctuation marks are really important. And longer pauses at full stops. As we said, as I told you, Dahlia, you have to pause for 1 second if we have a comma, and you have to pause for 2 seconds if we have a full
Yes.
stop. Bravo. Now select 6 to 7 short texts of 2 or 3 sentences, up to 60 words from a magazine or online. Look at the punctuation marks carefully and try to be careful about the grammar and mark the chunks with a slash. Like this. This is a slash. Why? Because I have to divide the passage into chunks, maybe phrases or sentences. Now I have to time myself. I have to practice timing myself because this is really important. I have to fully reading the text, Dahlia, in the given time. So I have to time myself reading each one. After 40 seconds, go on to the next passage. Listen to the way the final sound in one word links to the first sound. So intonation is really important when people speak. Try to do this when you read aloud. You will score higher if your fluency shows a natural rhythm, which is given by chunking and stress, We said that stress is really important. Read a sentence and clap your hands on each stressed word. Be careful or be aware of the weak forms between stressed words like verbs. Now, when practicing reading aloud, read on smoothly, even if you make a mistake, as hesitations, false starts, and repetitions can lower your score. You have to be careful. Practice using rising intonation and enlists and falling intonation at the end of sentences. When you learn a new word, I have to use my dictionary that has the words recorded so I can check both its pronunciation of the word and the sound of this new word. And absolutely, I have to check its stress. Now, you will read more fluently if you understand what you are reading. So work on your reading and vocabulary skills as well as your speaking skills just to improve your reading. Okay, Dalia?
Okay.
So please be careful about the strategies. Now I think I have to explain the tips. What are the tips that I have to be careful of? One, as we said, I have to break the text into chunks and pause slightly between each one as you read. Before recording begins, use punctuation to help you decide where to pause and where each new chunk will begin. Step number two, as you read, stress the words that carry important information. This makes it easier for you to understand what you are reading. Three, use rising intonation patterns to show a contrast. For example, here you need contrast. For example, the building with the trees. We are going to explain this while practicing, don't worry. Now, four is saying, which is step number four. Step number four is saying try to get the word stress right on multi-syllable words. In text four, there are words that end in ION. Usually the stress falls on the syllable before this pollution or these words that I have to practice. Five, look for sense groups as well as the grammatical structure to notice which groups of words should be said in one chunk to provide individuals with an income once they stop working. This is in the um, in the task while practicing. Absolutely, we have to learn that. Now, six, using falling intonation patterns to show that, to show that you have finished a point, please. This is, I mean, at the end of reading of every passage, you have to use the falling intonation just to tell the examiner or the listener that you are about to finish the paragraph, okay?
Okay.
So come to the end of what you are saying. Okay, I know that these are examples. We have to manage these examples while practicing. So this is it. This is about the strategies and tips about reading aloud. Now it's the time to practice. Are you free to start practicing, Dalia, or you suggest to start practicing tomorrow? What do you think?
Okay.
So are you ready now or tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow, okay. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Um,
uh-huh.
um, um,
Do you want to say something?
um, please, can I help me? Um,
Can you help me? Okay.
can you help me? Um,
Help you in what?
revision the lesson?
You want you want a quick revision about the lesson?
Yes, myself, in myself.
Do you want to now? You want to give me the quick revision about what we have discussed?
Yes.
Please, if you can, yes. Mm,
Okay.
mm,
Um,
amazing, yes.
now you stop recording?
No, no, I didn't. You told me that you want to tell me the revision, or you want me to give you a quick revision about what we have discussed, Dahlia.
Yes. yeah يعني
D- do you want
حاولها
me to
بالعربي
speak?
شوي. انه
Yeah.
هلا اليوم اللي اخذناه بدي
Mm.
حابه قبل ما بلش بكره ارجع اعيده كله راجعه.
Okay. Dahlia, I'm going to upload the videos to the channel now. Don't worry. Okay?
اوكي.
Ah,
هن حيتسجلوا انا في ارجع فوت راجعهم؟
absolutely. Yes, you can. Okay?
اوكي.
I'm going to send the link to Dr. Aisha just to reach the videos and watch them carefully.
بليز بليز
I
لانه
will.
اكيد
Don't
انا
worry.
كنت كتير مركزه معك وكتير عم
Thank
حاول
you.
انه
Thank you so much.
قد ما في استوعبهم في اشياء انه مرقت علي بفضل انه كمان قبل ما بكره بلش السيشن تاعونا
Yes, please, please,
اقعد انا
please.
اراجعهم كلهم نشوف شو الكلمه اللي مرقت ما قدرت عرفت كيف حتى ضلني
Exactly.
بدي ضلني بجو الدرس حتى ما ضيع هذا
Exactly.
الوقت اللي راح مني قبل ارجع ضيعه هلا.
This is what you have to do. I'm going to upload the videos now, Dalia, and I'm going to send the link to Dr. Aisha. And Dr. Aisha
اوكي.
is going to send the links back to you. Don't worry.
اوكي. يعني هلا
Okay.
دكتور عائشه بتبعت لي اللينك وانا بفوت برجع بحضر اليوم
Yes,
اللي اخذناه كله.
exactly.
اوكي. اوكي. ثانك
Okay.
يو.
So, do you have any questions before leaving?
نو نو.
Thank you so much, and let me wish a good evening to you, Dalia.
ثانك يو.
Thank you so much.